Rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Join us.
Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Campbell, let the record reflect that both Mr. Dills and I are here, and I have a statement to read from Michael Logue, who was unable to make it tonight and sends his regrets. And I'll quote, "Due to a family matter, I am unable to attend tonight's meeting. I am spending time with my wife and her grandmother, who is 88 and in need of our support at this time. I appreciate everyone's understanding." My mother's going to be 103 in a couple of weeks, so I get it. Okay, are there anybody, before I move on, has any public comments this evening? There's public comment cards in the back, and they look like these. So fill those out, and you can bring them up here to one of the gentlemen to my right, and we'll get to public comments here in a few minutes. Mr. Campbell, are there any correspondence?
Yes, sir, I have one. It's actually a stock ownership change at Old Charlie's. But it's Old Charlie's LLC, doing business as Old Charlie's 230, 4531 Eastgate Boulevard, Union Township, Cincinnati, Ohio 45245. I have all the corresponding paperwork that it's a legal use and it is zoned correctly. There are no objections at this time. Thank you.
All right, very good, thank you. Okay, so next on the list, we're going to have a couple of years of service recognition awards we're going to give out, and then we're going to consider also a new hire, and then we're going to have kind of a photo op with these three people. So to get started, Bill Hess, you in the room? Yeah, come on up, and Chief Reese, tell us about Bill Hess. 20 years of service at the police department.
Well, Mr. Becker, Bill is one of our homegrown officers. He actually started out as a dispatcher. I actually did his background as an investigator. That shows you how far back Bill goes. And served admirably in the dispatch section before becoming a police officer for us. And I couldn't be prouder of Bill. He's a very proactive officer, very community-oriented, and we're lucky to have him.
All right, very good. Bill, any thoughts over the last 20 years with Union Township?
Oh, it's been a long 20 years. I've got had babies. Now I've got adults. They're off into the world, and I'm still here. I consider Union Township my home. I'm a lifer here. I enjoy coming in every day. I get excited to put the uniform on every day. We have a great time. We've got good camaraderie, and it's just it's a good place to work. I enjoy it.
Any grandchildren?
Not yet. Let's not even talk about that.
All right, very good. All right, well, we certainly appreciate your 20 years of service, Mr. Dills.
Bill, appreciate you very much. And homegrown means a lot, so appreciate your time here. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Bill, very much.
Right, don't go far away. We're going to introduce one more person, and then a new hire, and then we're going to get photos.
Thank you.
Jessica, is it Moaning?
Moaning, yeah.
Moaning, I pronounced that correctly? Great. 10 years in the fire department. Chief Clements, what can you tell us about Jessica?
Yeah, so Jessica's been here 10 years. I'm sure some days feels like I can't believe it's already been 10 years, and some days it's only been 10 years. But Jessica's been at Station 49 for quite a long time, which is our busiest station there across from Harley-Davidson on Old 74. So she stays busy. She's been an excellent employee, and there's a bright future for her here, and we're excited for a minimum of 10 more here at Union Township.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, very good. Well, Jessica, you've had 10 years in the fire department. You've worked under two different fire chiefs. Is how's the new one working? How's the new guy working out down there?
It's been good. I'm excited for all the changes coming up. It's been good.
That sounds great. And so I guess you were around when that firehouse was rebuilt, remodeled, or did you come in after that?
Yeah,
39,
yeah, for the last
the addition.
remodel. I know it's been through a couple remodels, but
There's quite a bit of improvement there.
Yeah,
Well, great. Well, we certainly appreciate your 10 years of service for the township.
thank you.
Mr. Dills?
Yeah, Jess, you, is it Great American Ballpark you run up and down every year?
That's
Yeah.
right,
Yeah,
yep.
so tell us, I know all about it, but tell everyone about that. It's a big deal.
I've been doing that for about 10 years now,
Yeah.
at least. I finally this year got like 8 guys to do it with me.
About time,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, I know. I've been trying to get them every year and they're too scared. But, yeah,
Yeah, so it's a big deal. It's a big, give me more details about it.
it's for 9/11,
Yeah.
for everyone that died in 9/11. It used to be actually at the Crew Tower.
Yeah.
For about the first 8 years I did it. They just switched it during COVID to Great American.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good climb to do.
Yeah, basically, she's being modest and humble, but basically, she puts on all of her firefighter gear, goes up and down every single step of Great American Ballpark and the old Crew Tower back then, so
Very
appreciate you very
impressive.
much. Very cool you leading that, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jess. Appreciate 10 years very much. Yeah,
Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, don't go far. We'll get photos in another minute or two here. Okay, so we do have a potential hire here. Scott Harley, you in the room? Yeah, Scott, come on up. Chief Clements, tell us about Mr. Harley.
Thank you, Mr. Becker. I want to introduce and recommend Mr. Scott Harley for the consideration for the position of full-time firefighter paramedic. Mr. Harley is a 2019 Milford High School graduate and currently resides in the city of Milford. He obtained his Firefighter 1, Firefighter 2, and paramedic certifications from Cincinnati State. Mr. Harley has gained part-time experience working at Goshen Township, Deerfield Township, and Lockland Fire Departments, and has most recently been employed full-time by the city of Springdale. Scott is an avid sports fan, enjoys boxing, baseball, and basketball. Scott has successfully completed all aspects of the hiring process, including a background, polygraph, and psychological evaluation. I would recommend a conditional offer of employment to Mr. Harley as a full-time firefighter paramedic at a rate of pay consistent with Step 1 of the collective bargaining agreement effective October 28th, 2024 at 7 a.m. pending successful completion of a physical examination.
Sounds good. Mr. Harley, you've worked for multiple firehouses or fire departments, and we want to welcome you here to Union Township.
Thank
Were
you
you
very
working for Goshen when the hurricane blew through?
I started just after,
Tornado?
a few weeks after.
Yeah. Did they move that firehouse to like a temporary location?
Yes, so I actually have a Goshen Township guy right here. They're now running out of a trailer, just down the street, just
Okay.
temporary structure right now, but that's it.
All right, well, we want to welcome, do you have any questions for us, anything?
No, sir.
All right, sounds good. Mr. Dills?
Scott, basketball, huh?
Yes, sir.
Good, about time, chief, about time, jeez. Appreciate you, so, yeah, Milford guy, local guy, yeah, I appreciate you coming on board with us. We have a great fire program here, and our department's amazing. I'm surprised that you wouldn't go with Milford or Miami Township, so it says a lot about our department for you to choose us, so, yeah, appreciate you very much, man, welcome aboard, absolutely.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, thank you, Scott.
All right, so with that, Mr. Dills, I would like a motion to hire Scott Harley for the position of firefighter paramedic Step 1 in accordance with the collective bargaining agreement with an effective date of October 28th, 2024 at 7 a.m., pending successful completion of a medical physical examination.
Yeah, so moved?
And I will second that. Any discussion?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Campbell, roll call, please.
Mr. Dills?
Yes.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Welcome, Scott.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome, Scott. Absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Scott, welcome aboard.
Okay, I need Bill and Jessica to come on up, and we're going to get photos with all y'all. There's one for Jessica. This one, Mr. S. for the room to clear. Okay, next on the agenda is public comment. So I was told there's no cards. Last chance, here's a card. Come on up. If anybody else, there's cards in the back of the room. Yeah, name and address for the record, please.
Melvin DeWitt, 3902 Banks Road, Union Township, Claremont County.
Mr. DeWitt, you have the floor. 5 minutes, please.
I'm sorry?
5 minutes, please.
Oh,
Go
far
ahead.
less than that. Basically, it's more of a public service announcement on the 23rd of this month at CBG, Honor Flight Return. I'd like to see a lot of people there.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, thank you
Anybody
for
that
that.
wants more information, I'll be around.
All right, great.
Thank you, Mel. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else for public comment? Last call. Moving on. Department reports. Chief Austin, what's going on with fire department?
Yes, sir. So in the month of September, the fire department responded to 216 fire and service calls, 529 EMS details, made patient contact with 507 patients, resulting in 410 hospital transports. We completed 1,748 hours of training, handled 23 public education details, completed 17 life safety inspections, and 3 inspections with the building department. I do want to just take a quick moment here to thank Mr. Taylor and his staff for the assistance over the weekend with both the fireworks as well as our open house on Sunday that we hosted. We appreciate all the support your staff did. Also want to thank all of my staff for all the work that went into Sunday's open house. We had a first time in a long time that we've opened the doors to the fire station for the public to come in for an event like that. I think it was well received and well attended, and a lot of work went into it by my staff, and I just want to point that out. They did a great job.
Now, for the end of season fireworks, you had your equipment set up in front of Crossroads Church. How did that go? You get a lot of interest from the public there?
Yeah, anytime there's a fire truck sitting in a parking lot, it draws attention and crowds, and we had plenty of stuff out there for the kids to look at and for the adults as well, and I think it went really well.
Yeah, it gives the adults an excuse to be a kid. Oh, yeah, it's my kids that want to sit in the fire
Exactly.
truck. I have to sit with them, of course, right? All right. Okay, glad that went well. Mr. Dills, anything?
Chief, just curious, based on your eye test, which one gets more attention, tours, and pictures, the police cruisers or the fire truck? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I didn't see a whole lot of cameras in the police cruisers. We couldn't stop people from taking pictures of our trucks, so.
That's funny.
Right, loves the fireman.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, Chief Reese, what's going on in the police department?
Thank you, Mr. Becker. In the month of September, the Communications Center handled 5,457 calls for service for police, fire, and EMS, and 5,425 total calls. Our record section processed 467 juvenile and adult court-related documents for court. We handled 95 court notices requiring officers' personal appearance in court. We processed 7 Rule 16s for the prosecutor's office. We issued 0 vendor permits, handled 151 records requests, and redacted 23 body cam videos. In the area of public affairs, officers conducted 4 public relations events during the month of September. The events consisted of a buddy walk. I believe that was a walk down in the polo fields we've done annually for Down syndrome. We did an outreach meeting with the staff from Walmart, which we've been doing monthly. They typically want our input on how to improve in the area of loss prevention and theft detection. And our honor guard assisted a Girl Scout troop with a flag fold, and we did some active shooter training for the employees over at L3, which we've been doing that annually for them. In the area of operations, we took 312 incident reports, 109 crash reports, made 701 traffic stops, issued 178 citations, issued 559 written warnings, made 68 criminal arrests, 82 traffic arrests, and served 52 warrants. With regards to training, in the month of September, our officers attended 128 total hours of training. Lastly, I'm pleased to report we attended the Crime Stoppers annual breakfast this morning down at the Hard Rock Casino. I was honored to be down there. Our investigative unit received an award. They were recognized for the work they did in June of 2023. That was the ATM robbery at Wrecker and Berger, where we arrested the 3 men down in Texas. So really happy and proud to see our guys get recognized. A lot of hard work that went into that case.
Yeah, it's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, I got several items for you. So first off, let's start with Saturday's events and the Dora. How'd that go?
So I'm also happy to report we had 0 incidences
Great.
Saturday night. We made no arrests. I was down there right around the time the fireworks went off and at the behind Jungle Gyms there where the cigar bar is, and we had a great crowd. And happy to report no incidences. We had officers down there, and they said everybody was having a good time, and it was a good event.
Yeah, so you have a big crowd, lots of people walking around in Dora cups, and nobody got out of hand. Everybody responsible.
Yes, sir.
As I like to hear. That's great. Okay, on the call, well, a couple things here. So I was looking through your notes. You got, there was 4 public relation events. So yeah, let's just go through them kind of one at a time. So the first one, Buddy Walk in the polo fields. What's that? What's a Buddy Walk?
I believe this is the 4th or 5th year in a row we've done that. The polo field's obviously a big neighborhood down there off of Beechwood, and they do like a mini parade for kids with, I believe, either Down syndrome or autism. And we typically send an officer down there in a cruiser, light the cruiser up, and the kids get a kick out of it. So.
Oh, good. All right. The second one, outreach meeting with staff from Walmart. Is that kind of routine, different businesses you go into and meet with security staff there, I presume?
That's something Walmart's loss prevention requested that we give them a hand with. We've been doing that now for about 6 months, meeting with them monthly. You know, unfortunately, we do get a lot of loss prevention situations in there where we have shoplifters, and I think Walmart's just looking on ways to you know, improve the situation where they're not getting as many theft offenses in there.
Wow, good, very good. Third one, HG procedures for Girl Scout troop. What is that?
So typically when our honor guard presents the colors at an event, there's usually a flagfold involved.
It's honor guard,
And
okay.
you're right, and the Girl Scouts reached out to us. We typically do a lot of scout tours at the police department, but the Girl Scouts reached out, and our honor guard was happy to kind of show them how we do the flag presentations.
Very good, awesome. Then the last one for the public relations events, active shooter training for employees at a local business. So how often do you do active shooter training, and kind of how does that go?
We've been doing those, in the last 2 or 3 years, we've been doing those more often. We've got 4 officers that are certified to give those talks. Obviously, in this day and age, that's something that's always at the forefront of people's mind, these active shooters. And we get businesses that ask us to kind of go over their plans with them on how they would handle an active shooter, look for tips on how to keep their business place safer. L3, because of the work that they do down there, the government type of work, we typically do that as a refresher annually for their employees.
All right, very good. So the last item I have for you then, and this was on the call-out report, and I really found this to be very disturbing. And you know, maybe this hasn't been adjudicated, maybe you can't tell me a whole lot, but, you know, tell us I just hope this pervert's in prison, I guess is really what it comes down to. So you have a 30-year-old semi-truck driver, picks up a 16-year-old girl that he met online, he was taking her to Texas and wound up taking her somewhere up in Ohio, met her at Klepper Park. What else can you tell us? And please tell me the guy's in prison.
I can give you a few details on that. That's another situation where, again, I was very proud of the work put in by our investigative unit. To answer your question, we did have a semi-truck driver, over-the-road truck driver, that picked up a juvenile at Klepper Park. They had an online relationship of some sort. Our investigators were able to go to some of the local businesses at the top of Summerside and look at some of their security camera footage. Make a long story short, we were able to identify a truck we believe belonged to the perpetrator, and the video showed some markings on the side of the truck where we were able to identify the company. We responded to the company, spoke with a manager there. They were actually able to give us, because all their trucks are pinged, their locations, they were able to give us the location of the truck, and we were fortunate enough to catch them at a truck stop up in northern Ohio. Can't remember the name of the county offhand, but it was up north of Guernsey County up north of Columbus. We happened to catch him up there on a mandatory break. Those truckers are only allowed to drive for so many hours. We were actually able to catch him with the juvenile with him. So he was arrested. As you can see by the report, he was charged with interference with custody. He was extradited back to Claremont County, and I checked today, and he is still locked up. So we're waiting to go to court on this. So.
All right, good work. Your team has been very effective. A lot of good stories coming out of the police department. I really appreciate that, and the public certainly does as well. Mr. Dills, anything?
Chief, great work and excellent this morning getting that award. It's a very big deal, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, please pass it along. Oh, that's awesome. That's great. You got one police officer position open. Do we have anybody lined up for that at all, or is it just an open vacancy right now?
We do. We have somebody that's in background right now. I think he's going to work out, so we'll have to see how that pans out.
Excellent, okay. And then you should be fully staffed?
Yes, sir.
Great. And so, a great job over the weekend, police and everything for the fireworks. And I know Mr. Taylor, we're working with Duke Energy on the lighting in the back trail and all that, but no issues on the trail, no issues anywhere else at all? Perfect,
No issues to
smooth?
speak of, sir.
Well, that's great. I like hearing that. That's perfect. And then, hey, both of you, Friday, West Claremont had their homecoming football parade, and my son participated in that. He plays football for the youth, West Claremont Youth Football. And a couple of officers were in there, a couple of firefighters were in there. Appreciate y'all, just good public PR. Appreciate that very much. So, yeah, thanks, Chief. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Taylor, what's going on in the services department?
Thank you, Mr. Becker. In the cemetery division, from September 1st through the 30th, 13 burials were performed, generating $7,775. Two resident graves were purchased for $1,400. 6 columbarium niches were purchased for $9,600. The total amount generated for the period was $24,784. In the roads division, the road department staff trimmed limbs and brush on 12 township roads, improving the right-of-way and visibility for the residents, and a total of 28 work orders were completed on township roads. And the 2024 road resurfacing program concluded with spot paving repairs on Barksalt Run Road as well. And in the Parks Division, improvements and repairs were made to the basketball court at Veterans Park, and all the courts were resurfaced with new asphalt and basketball court striping. And just a reminder, junk collection is October 24th, 25th, and 26th of this month. So, and that concludes my report.
All right, very good, thank you. Yeah, and also then Saturday, there was a trash pickup day in the parks, Klepper and Veterans Park, and what, 3
Yes.
bags of garbage got picked up?
Yes, sir.
All right, hopefully we'll get more participation in future years, but,
Yes.
from my experience, the park was actually pretty clean. I mean, when I was walking around Klepper, and, I had to look real hard to find anything. And, you can find stuff if you're looking for it, but, nothing really jumped out at me. So your people do a good job keeping the parks nice. I get a lot of compliments about it.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Dills?
Mr. Taylor, great work. I know your team worked, whenever we have a big event, police night out, the fireworks celebration this past weekend, I know your team is up late, very late, set up, tear down, clean up, all that. Please pass it along to your team. We truly appreciate that. That's a lot of work. It's much appreciated, so.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Okay, well, Mr. McCormick is out ill today, so he's not going to be able to participate. However, Mr. Wright has agreed to step in. So, Mr. Wright, what do you have for a planning and zoning report?
Thank you, Mr. Becker. So, and I'll just be very brief. So, with regard to the month of September, 65 inspections, 9 complaints, 3 unfounded complaints, 4 warning citations, 2 15-day noncompliance letters, and 1 30-day letter. We resolved 7 items administratively and filed 3 nuisances. That's really a highlight from enforcement. And then as far as permits, we had 2 new commercial permits, 3 changes of use occupancy, a lot of sign permits, things like that. And then a lot of accessory, pools, fences, decks. Now sort of the time where people are getting their projects lined up for next year. So 41 permits for the month of September, monthly permit revenue of $11,804. And that concludes the planning and zoning report.
Mr. Dills, anything on that?
All good.
All right, go ahead with the administration report then, please.
Thank you, sir, and again, I'll try to be brief here. I feel like my voice is not great tonight. So tonight you have the memorandum of understanding for Klepper Park Waterline Project. The CIC previously approved this. The Township would be the next step in this, and then it'll be forwarded to the Board of Commissioners for action. That basically that they're going to reimburse a significant amount, I think up to $700,000 for a water line loop, which improves reliability and also gets water into the park, which helps us with the project that we're working on that we received capital money for. So that is before the board this evening. We also have secured an engineering contract with Choice One for the same work, so we'll get started on that, hopefully very soon. We did receive the state capital grant funding. Thank you to Mr. McCormick and Mr. Taylor for working through that process. It's a little different. It came through the Department of Commerce, and thanks to Mr. Campbell's office for helping us with the accounting component of that. Resurfacing on the pickleball courts at Veterans Park is nearly complete. I'm advised that any day now they should be finished, and not a moment too soon as the temperature's starting to drop. It feels like just a couple of months ago we were fighting the temperatures to come up, and now we're worried about them dropping. So that it does look very nice. And then the basketball court resurfacing has been completed, and I think the results are outstanding. It looks fantastic. Just a couple of upcoming items. There is a public hearing. We will be required to have a public hearing in November for the proposed JED number 8. For this is the Children's Hospital VA area JED, and that's been appropriately noticed. And a file is available for inspection for 30 days prior to the hearing. That hearing will occur on November 12th as part of our regular business meeting, and the city of Milford will follow similar steps on that. And then there'll be a resolution for the board's consideration. There is an item this evening on the agenda requesting that the board transfer. I had a note here too. I actually missed one. 3 parcels along the north side of Eichholz, just west of Omni Drive, to the CIC for development purposes, looking at, packaging those properties up as part of a larger redevelopment, and just need to move them over so that we have them in the CIC's name. Choice One's working with the county and the township to prepare a joint OPWC application to address turning movements and then to tie into the Elmont Drive drainage project with the goal of advancing an OPWC application next year. As Mr. Taylor indicated, the road resurfacing program is complete for 2024. We were able to take our reserve and apply that toward, I think Mr. Taylor's characterization of spot repairs on Barg Salt is a bit of an understatement. We were able to repave significant portions of Barg Salt Run, really the worst failed sections. Really, if everybody knows, sort of the cut down the hill, and then you get to the bottom, and then that was in better shape, and then another significant cut next to one of the stream crossings there. So if you haven't driven it, it looks fantastic. So just a couple other items. Park Bulletin Board installation is pending. I actually saw, I believe, one of our service department personnel over there working on those. And the last item is, I believe, as of today, all AEDs in all of our township parks and facilities have been installed. Now we're working on signage, and there'll be a plan adoption this evening for the board's consideration that's also required as part of House Bill 47. So,
The unfunded mandate.
yes.
All right, well, thank you for that, Mr. Wright. Good work. Mr. Dills, anything?
No, good work, Mr. Wright, and appreciate all the updates. I will say, this past weekend, it was really nice. Took my kiddos to the park, took them to the park, I think 3 times, and every single time they wanted to go to Klepper Park. And I ran into actually Mr. Campbell there with his grandbabies there, and it's packed every time. It's super clean. I love it. Great job. The park looks awesome. I'm glad we did that. And it's crazy because my kids have never asked to go to Klepper Park, ever. And so now, we go there quite often. So I love the park. It's great. And so, but no, I just wanted to share that with you. But that is all I got, sir.
All right, very good. Public hearing. So we're going to have a case number coming up here, 2021-05-Z. So, Mr. Dills, I would like a motion to open that hearing,
Also moved.
and I will second that. Mr. Campbell, roll call, please.
Mr. Dills?
Yes?
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Public hearing is open at 6:31 PM.
Okay, Mr. Wright, please introduce the topic. What's going on here?
Well, thank you, sir, and I neglected to thank our project, this was forgetful of me, neglected to thank our project sponsors and partners for the fireworks this weekend, Jungle Gyms and Crossroads. You know, without those two partners, you know, that event wouldn't be what it is, and thanks to all the township staff, the departments for putting their best foot forward and all hands on deck. I know that's out of order, but I really wanted to get that out, so. So is it okay if I proceed with the zoning case now?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I appreciate you making those comments.
Thank you. So this is case 805Z. This is a major amendment for a proposed 2-acre site within Ivy Point. This is just north of the Sherifax property. This is an application that's been filed by Primrose Schools. This is really a high-end childcare and educational facility here. If you look here, it's on the east side of Ivy Point Boulevard, just north of Sherifax, near the traffic signal at where TQL's main entrance is. It'd be a two-story project, approximately 19,000 square feet, an associated parking site, landscaping improvements. Property zone PD, everything around it is generally PD. Looking at the comp plan, generally consistent, Class A office with supporting uses. You know, the structures are supposed to be, you know, multiple stories, high-quality materials, respectful of the existing investment in that facility. You can see the site generally flat. Land use is pretty much all commercial with the exception of a large, you know, section of undeveloped land further to the east. You can see here the site plan overlaid on the property, pretty standard site plan. It's got some detention, you know, parking, and we'll go over some staff requirements here shortly. Again, there's another view of the site. Here's the site plan. You can see, you know, ample setbacks in that, appropriate provisions made for access to and through the site. There is a joint easement, if you see here, a proposed access point here and along another access point. Ample landscaping plan, you know, obviously subject to finalization during permitting. Here's the renderings. As you can see, this is predominantly brick and stone masonry. I think Mr. McCormick estimates that at about 75% brick and stone. It has a very nice corporate office park appearance to it. So it blends in sort of with the architecture of Sherifax and, you know, the other items that are out there. So it's a high quality building design and facade in that. And then you can see here just some photos of the site, kind of complementary to what's out there now and all that. So why are we here? It's a major amendment. This is a PD, you know, without belaboring the full history of the Ivy Point project, which is going on now, you know, nearly 20 years. This is the latest project that'll bring, you know, another site into, you know, active development for the project. You know, I can't think of, you know, a better opportunity to be able to put, you know, a high-end use that supports the growing, you know, number of employees over there. And I think that will be positive in that. So if you look at the action required this evening, is in accordance with 680 through 687 of the zoning code. The board is to approve, modify, or deny this request for a major amendment and the plan with any further modifications. And there are 6 modifications, just address agency comments, provide an enhanced landscaping plan for administrative review and approval. There is the need to install a sidewalk from Ivy Point Boulevard to the rear of the property. That, if you remember, there's always been kind of the conceptual walking path that sort of wrap around that, so we need them to extend that back either on their parcel or to secure an easement. There's a small gore that the township owns just north of that as well, that, you know, depending on the spacing and the grading for the site, where we would look to do that, and that can be approved administratively. A lighting and photometric plan with all lighting inward, downward directed, dark sky compliant, signage packet consistent with development standards in Ivy Point, and then just several site plan review checklist items that are all administrative in nature. So that concludes the report.
All right. Oh, it sounds like it's going to be a great addition. Any comments or questions for Mr. Wright before I call for public comment?
No, great explanation, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay, for the public, is there any proponents for this case? Anybody speaking in favor of the case? Come on up. Going to need to swear you in, and your name and address for the record. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Name and address for record, please.
Michael Dungis, I'm with Core Resources, we're the developer. Address is 7795 5 Mile Road, Cincinnati.
Very good, you have the floor, sir.
Okay, yeah, so we're very excited to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. This project has been in development for well over a year now. We've been recently involved. We're very excited to be in the neighborhood and to be in Union Township. Our client, the franchisee who will own and operate this, has 3 other great facilities throughout Cincinnati, and she specifically picked Union Township for what's going on here and is excited to be a part of this community. So we went through a lot of lengths with the corporate staff of Primrose to change the design to make this building fit into the neighborhood, as well as meet some of the covenants and requirements of the neighborhood, such as the size of the building is quite a bit bigger than a typical Primrose school. It's about 20,000 square feet, and they hope to use this. There's some office space in there as well for some of their corporate staff as the franchise grows. So that's all. Just thank you very much for the opportunity, and if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I don't have anything. Do you, Mr. Dills?
Is it Dungis?
Yes.
Dungis. So you folks designed this building, right?
Correct. We had a design firm that we managed design it.
Just well done. Well done. It fits right in with the whole landscape there, and you would never guess looking at that is going to be a child daycare. So was this Primrose's is this their concept, or was this more your guys' concept?
We came up with it together.
Well
So
done.
the architecture firm that we worked with has done a lot of other Primrose schools, but none of them have looked like this. So they typically look more like an old schoolhouse kind of church look with a big gable
Yeah.
end.
Yeah, so I know you're not Primrose the company, however, pass along, great concept. I mean, you've got all the folks across the street at TQL, you got all the folks that are at, the Capitol, or the GG right there, and you're also gonna have, all the Cincinnati Children's Hospital right there. All those folks need childcare. And
Yeah.
What a great location right there, 2 stories, so it's just good looking concept, well done, yeah, so, yeah, appreciate it, thank you.
Yes, I concur. It's a beautiful building. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We don't go too far away. We might still have some questions for you later. Anybody else that's a proponent for this case? Anybody wish to speak in favor of it? Seeing none. Anybody who's opposed to the case? Any opposition? Any opposition, opposed? Seeing none. How about interested party? Not for it, not against it, just some general comments. Okay, then, unless we have any further comments, shall we close this hearing? All right, we'll close the hearing. In that case, Mr. Dills, I would like a motion to close the hearing for case number 805-Z.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Campbell, roll call, please.
Mr. Dills?
Yes.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Public hearing is closed at 6:39 PM.
All right, in that case, I would like a motion to approve zoning case 8-05-Z.
So moved.
Second. Any comment, any further discussion?
No, I think I already addressed it with Mr. Dungis, so.
So
we're
as
good.
well. All
We're
right.
good.
Mr. Campbell, roll call, please.
Mr. Dills?
Yes.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Congratulations, gentlemen.
And just, Mr. Becker, to be clear, that motion was to approve it as recommended, correct?
Yes,
As recommended.
yes. I thought that was implied. Did that need
Yes,
to be?
yeah, with staff comments. Yep.
Staff recommendation.
Or do I need to redo that?
No.
It's
No,
okay to wait?
I just want to get on record, it's with, approved as recommended.
As recommended, yes. All right. Thank you for clarifying.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're in the agenda on the consent agenda. So, Mr. Dills, I'm going to need one motion for 3 items here. The first one being the approval of the minutes from September 10th, the approval of payments, and the approval of the monthly financial report, all of which prepared by Mr. Campbell.
So moved.
And I will second that. Mr. Campbell, roll call, please.
Mr. Dills?
Yes.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Let's see, I need, well, I'll tell you what, how about Mr. Wright, tell us what's going on with the 15,000 and up purchase orders?
Sure, thank you, Mr. Becker. So I have a whole bunch of them for you this evening. The majority of these are related to our second half TIF, tax increment financing settlement payments to various institutions and whatnot. First one I have is to Great Oaks Institute Great Oaks Institute Tech and Career Development for second half TIF payment, the amount of $39,629.31. Second one is the West Claremont Local School District for the second half TIF settlement payment, the amount of $1,840,763.64. The third is to the Claremont Northeastern Local School District for the second half TIF settlement payment, the amount of $25,803.26. The fourth is to Redwood Living, Inc. for second half TIF settlement payment for $107,035.32. The fourth, let's see, the fifth, okay, next one, sorry, I'll just stop numbering them. Echelon by 360 LLC, second half TIF settlement payment for phase one in the amount of $48,688.48. Next one is another one to Echelon by 360 LLC for phase two in the amount of $20,106.40. The next one is to the Milford Board of Education for the second half TIF settlement payment, the amount of $868,670.75. The next purchase order is to Bricker Graydon LLP for the remainder of the year, legal fees, $75,000. The next one is the United States Postal Service for retail postage. This is retail postage inventory that we purchase and resell in the amount of $50,000. The next one is for the police. That is Axon Enterprise, Inc. That is for the year two of the TASER 7 agreement in the amount of $46,993.58. The next item is for the fire department. It's for Deccan International. That's our annual maintenance agreement for our run analysis software in the amount of $21,211 even. And the last one is for the fire department, Stryker Sales Corporation for powered Stryker stair chairs in the amount of $49,682.34. And I would add that that item is the result of a Bureau of Workers' Comp grant that the fire department was successfully able to secure. I think it was a little over $37,000 in funding. Is that correct, sir?
That'll be the reimbursement.
That's the reimbursement on that. So those power lift chairs are a big deal, saves injuries, safer for the patients, and we get them basically paid for, 75%. So,
That's awesome. All right, great.
and that concludes the purchase orders.
Okay, yeah, this all looks good to me. Mr. Dills, any questions, comments, any of this?
It's okay, Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna do something a little different.
All right.
Now, we get our typical audience, I see everyone out here. A lot of TIF payments. Does everybody understand what a TIF is, or would anybody like a quick elevator pitch on what a TIF exactly is?
Yeah, go ahead and give a quick rundown on it.
Mr. Wright, would you mind just, 30-second elevator pitch
Sure.
on exactly what it, because this is a lot of money going to TIF
Yes.
funding. I just would like you to just give a quick explanation on
So-
what a TIF is for.
30-second, 30,000-foot view, basically a tax increment financing district, basically establishes pilot payments in lieu of taxes, where those funds go into a specific pilot payment fund, and then the statute generally calls for some kind of compensation agreement with the schools, which we have, and it just varies based upon the need and the different project. You then, when you get those settlements twice a year, based on those calculations, you then send the schools their percentage, and that's based on the amount of millage that they would otherwise collect, but for the TIF generally, or some other negotiated compensation. And then you also have developer agreements which reimburse for specific public infrastructure from the net proceeds after the school and the joint vocational school district is made whole.
Which would be
So
sidewalks.
sidewalks,
stop lights.
stormwater,
Yeah.
traffic improvements, infrastructure, all kinds of things. So that's what basically all these payments are related to.
Appreciate that. Sorry to be a little out of the ordinary. So.
No, that's great. I like to have these opportunities to explain to the public, what's going on up here and why we do what we do. And I guess what I'd like to add, really, with that explanation is, we in Union Township, we don't have a roads levy, we don't have a parks levy, and we don't put a whole lot of levies on the ballot at all. And it's been a while since we've had one, and there's no plans to put one on anytime soon. So the reason we're so efficient here with tax dollars, or one of the reasons, is because we do TIFs and we do JEDs. And we make a lot of money on both. And because of that, we don't need to crank up people's property taxes nearly as much as like some other communities. So it's just something that's kind of unique to Union Township in a lot of ways. And, this being a big township, 50,000 people, and located here on 275, we have the opportunity to bring in a lot of business, and, that's willing to do TIFs and JEDs. And it's good for all of the residents of Union Township, and that's why we keep doing it. Yeah, go ahead.
And then, Chief Reese, new tasers, how long are we good for on these?
This is the second installment of a 5-year plan on the taser.
So we'll be doing this three more years?
3 more years.
Got it. Okay, perfect. That's all I got, sir.
I guess last thing I'd want to clarify, since I threw out the acronym JED, Joint Economic Development District. It's where, in essence, the people who work in that district, not the residents, people who work in that district, and like the TQL area as an example of that Ivy Point, they pay 1% of their salary as an earnings tax. And we get a cut out of that, and Milford gets a cut out of that for administrating the program. With that, Mr. Dills, I would like a motion to approve the purchase orders exceeding $15,000 as described by Mr. Wright.
So moved.
Second, Mr. Campbell, roll call, please.
Mr. Dills?
Yes.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Mr. Wright, so explain to us you touched on this a little bit earlier, but there's multiple properties here, looks like 3 of them along Colts Road, to transfer for economic development purposes.
Yep, so what I have is a motion to authorize the transfer of these parcels, 4441 Colts Road, 4446 Colts Road, and 4450 Colts Road, and the property ID numbers there. 2 of those are probably 4/10 of an acre. There are 2 residual parcels that were acquired as part of the Colts extension project. And then the last one it's on the, if you can think, Ivy Point Boulevard where it intersects Colts Road. This would be the parcel on the, if you're looking at Omni Drive, on your right-hand side, just kind of on the same side as the Union and all that is. So it's about an acre net. So we would transfer those over to the CIC so that we can, position those for redevelopment opportunities in the future. So.
Sounds good to me. Mr. Dills, any questions on any of that?
No, sir.
All right, in that case, Mr. Dills, I would like a motion to transfer those properties that, as described by Mr. Wright.
So moved.
Second, Mr. Campbell, roll call, please.
Mr. Dills?
Yes.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Mr. Wright, tell us about the MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, with the Board of County Commissioners
Sure.
and UTCIC.
So this is a memorandum of understanding, MOU, and what this does, it basically lays out the terms of building or how to build the water line through Klepper Park, and basically, that the township will handle the engineering for the project. The township will work to secure easements and things, so I don't think we'll know once we survey it, but I think we're pretty much the only property owner that you have to get an easement from, which there'll be a public easement there. It'll stub in at Wood Thrush, which I believe there's a dedicated right-of-way that butts up to the park there, so it'll tie in right there. And then we would bid and design and bid the project, and then the county will reimburse us up to $700,000. Now, there'll be some private side infrastructure that would be non-reimbursable, which would basically be a private 4-inch service and vault that extends off of this trunk line to serve, the splash pad and then other improvements at the park in the future if you were ever to want to add those. I think our water back there right now is what, a 3/4-inch service line, Matt? Yes. Off of Barg Salt, and that main is aging. So this improves reliability for the neighborhoods. There's a pretty large neighborhood back there, and allows the county to loop and have, loops are good in the water business. You know, whereas right now you just have an older aged main on bark salt. And this gives you the chance to kind of, you know, if there's a break here, they can, you know, turn some valves and then feed this trunk line and basically backfill the neighborhood and all that. And then, you know, there's a benefit to the township as well. So, you know, very similar to what we did with Champions Way with the sewer district, and once the board approves it, you know, we'll send it over fully signed to the Board of Commissioners, and they'll take action on it, so.
Sounds good. So the splash pad is it's going to be near the pickleball courts, is that correct?
It'll be closer to the large gazebo over there, because that's
okay.
really, yeah, because, you know, obviously, you want to minimize the amount of underground infrastructure that you have to put in to serve it.
Okay.
And that way, it's kind of in an area that's near the playground, near the restrooms, but not necessarily right on top of it. And then you can put a vault in that's centrally located to serve the rest of the facility as well, so.
That does make sense. All right, very good. Mr. Dills, any questions, comments?
No, great work.
In that case, Mr. Dills, I would like a motion to approve the MOU as described by Mr. Ray.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Campbell, roll call, please.
Mr. Dills?
Yes.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Brings us to the legislation agenda. So, Mr. Wright, tell us about Resolution 2024-50.
Sure, and I don't want to steal Mr. Campbell's thunder on this, but this is a housekeeping item that the fiscal office has to do periodically, and you may see one at the end of the year as well. So you'll typically see one at the beginning of the year, and then as we get our updated certificates of resources in, and we basically fine-tune the revenue expenses, they're able to do this. This really allows them to, you know, encumber the funds, but they can't do it until they get their certificate of resources back. And, you know, what we estimate at the beginning of the year changes depending on what the intake is and all that. Is that a fairly 30,000-foot view?
Well said.
Perfect, okay.
All right, says the expert. Mr. Dills, any questions, comments, any of that?
None.
In that case, I would like a motion to adopt Resolution 2024-50 as described by Mr. Wright and approved by Mr. Campbell.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Campbell, roll call, please.
Mr. Dills?
Yes.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Mr. Wright, tell us about Resolution 2024-51.
Okay, so this is a nuisance abatement action for the board, and it really is an attempt. We have an issue over at 661 Parkland Drive where there is nuisance vegetation and debris that is clogging an inlet structure in a detention basin and creating a water impoundment issue that actually is backing up into neighboring properties and into the street, I believe, Mr. Taylor. So, and we believe that the issue is predominantly due to the noxious vegetation and debris that's blocking this inlet structure because, you know, we've really looked hard at this. I believe Mr. Taylor's filed a drainage complaint. There really hasn't been any action on that. We've tried to figure out what the source of this is. We believe that, you know, it's the vegetation, but we really can't tell until we get in there and clean that out and see what's going on. So this will help us. This is a non-traditional way to do this. Because it's squarely on this property owner, and we believe it is squarely due to non-maintenance and vegetation. So it's really kind of it's just a bad situation. So.
Yeah, I kind of got a story on this. So whenever you have these properties, I always do a drive-by and check them out. I just like to, you know, see them personally. And this one, so I walk back there, and I see this pond, this guy's side yard, and it's fairly large for a residential neighborhood to have a pond this size. And, yeah, I mean, you could have had a boat sitting there. I mean, there's a lot of water. Or, you know, maybe ice skates on in the winter, you know, I don't know. And I followed with Mr. Wright about it, and he said, yeah, it's supposed to be dry. And he showed me, you know, pictures from Google satellite as the years have gone by where somehow the pipe got clogged and it's backing up onto another road. And so it's a really interesting problem. It is an enormous amount of water where there shouldn't be any water at all. So if you kind of think about a clogged toilet, it kind of looks like that, but it wasn't gross in any way. But it was an interesting problem I've never seen before. Mr. Dills, anything?
No, makes sense. We'll give it a shot.
In that case, Mr. Dills, I would like a motion to approve Resolution 2024-51.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Campbell, roll call, please.
Mr. Dills?
Yes.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And Mr. Wright, tell us about Resolution 2024-52.
Thank you, Mr. Becker. So 2024-52, this is a resolution adopting an automated external defibrillator, AED, usage emergency action plan for Union Township. So as I indicated briefly, with the passage of House Bill 47, the 135th General Assembly amended various sections of ORC, including 755.13, to require townships with populations in excess of 5,000 people to place an automatic external defibrillator devices at, quote, each sports and recreation location under the authority's control. And so we basically list those: Veterans Park, Klepper Park in 2 locations, Mount Moriah Cemetery and Heritage Memorial Grove in 2 locations, Ivy Point Park restroom walking path, Mount Carmel Park playground, and both lobbies of the Civic Center. And so why are all those locations? Well, really, those are the locations where anybody is really going to gather or recreate, all of them with the exception of the cemetery. You know, in the Civic Center, we have the amphitheater. You know, the cemetery, people actually go there and walk, and they're there all the time. You know, Mount Carmel, we have playgrounds. Klepper, obviously, a lot of new improvements. Veterans, very busy, a lot of improvements. So, you know, out of, you know, an abundance of caution or whatever, we're putting them all everywhere. They have code boxes on them. The AED plan indicates that. They are code secured. The building here, they are not code box secured. We are working on a signage plan with specific instructions at each location, and then also some signage space periodically, you know, go to the nearest whatever for, you know, the AED, and just trying to cover all our bases. So we're really required to do this plan pursuant to 755-13D1C. And so the plan, the fire department put this together. I appreciate, you know, their work on this, and basically, you know, the bulk of the protocol here is to dial our 911 communication center. Those personnel are on staff 24/7, 365. They are all trained in AED usage, and they can simultaneously instruct on how to deploy the AED and then also dispatch the call to get emergency services to the location. So we really believe that that will be the quickest and most effective way to make sure these devices are deployed properly. So,
All right, I got a question on this.
yes, sir.
So, and this might be a better question for actually Chief Clements, but, you know, so these AEDs, they've kind of become a thing in recent years. I have no idea how to use one. Somebody was laying on the floor needing one, I wouldn't know they needed one for one thing, wouldn't know how to use it for another thing. Do you have to know CPR to use an AED, or why are these things kind of like everywhere, and maybe only certain people know how to use them?
So that's a good question, and I'm glad you brought that up. The AEDs now, that especially the ones that are out at the parks that we just put out, they're user-friendly. They walk you through. As soon as you open the cabinet and open the AED, it verbalizes and tells you exactly what to do. They don't deliver any shock unless they're applied and read the rhythm. If it's a shockable rhythm, it will prompt you and it will charge up and tell you what to do. But anybody can walk up, whether you've had a CPR certification or a paramedic or just somebody that's walking by and picks it up. Whoever grabs that can open it. And at the same time, you know, the plan that Mr. Wright was just presenting, calling 911, the dispatchers are also trained to walk somebody through how to do CPR, how to, you know, the steps in the AED. But again, the AED itself will prompt anybody that opens that, the steps to take to utilize it.
Good to know, I didn't know any of that. All right, Mr. Dills, any questions, comments, Ian?
Mr. Wright, thanks for spearheading all this, and Chief, appreciate you doing it as well. Mr. Wright, can I ask for one little favor? If you wouldn't mind, sir, would you mind putting one of these AEDs right outside of Mr. Becker's office downstairs? You never know, you know, so I think it's great. No, that's perfect, yeah. So, hey, question for you, Chief Clemens. What happens if vandalism happens, someone, you know, teenager, whatever, anyone screws up with it? What happens? And then what's the cost to replace this thing if?
So we opted to go with the cabinets that have a lock on them. So you walk up to the cabinet, you can't just open it and take the AED. You have to call 911. It's going to prompt you to call 911 to access the AED. Dispatchers know the code to get into that box. So they'll relay that code to the 911 caller. So while they're giving that code to the 911 caller, they're also dispatching the fire department to come out. Once that code is given, then you can access the cabinet to get the AD.
Makes sense. Great. Okay.
When it comes to theft, you know, what could happen? Somebody could steal anything, right? So that is a concern.
Yep.
But as far as a kid getting it and utilizing it, again, those pads have to be placed. It has to detect a shockable rhythm. If it does not detect that, it's not going to charge up and deliver any type of lethal shock.
Perfect.
So, Mr. Dills, also, Mr. Taylor's staff have been working to install the cabinets, the exterior cabinets. They're all outdoor rated cabinets, so they're designed to be outside. They're bolted in many cases, to the brick or block. Mount Carmel was a little bit of a challenge. I credit Mr. Taylor. Right now, we don't have any structure over there, so they had to, you know, self-engineer some significant structure, which are some posts and, you know, lagged together and sunk very deep into the ground. And, you know, we have power. We're going to have, you know, cameras on them. I mean, you can only do so much.
Chief, what's the lifespan of them? Any idea?
The AD itself, 10, 12 years, they'll no longer be serviceable.
So, and this was spearheaded by our representative, Adam Bird, right? Correct? Yeah, so, love the idea. It's great, so I'm okay with it. Yeah, perfect.
Can we send Adam Bird the bill for these?
That's actually, yeah, true that. There's no grants or anything for these, are there? We just have to put up a bill away.
We
Okay,
just-
good. Yep, so, but it's law, we have to have these now, so, but we gotta pay for the bill, we gotta pay it, so.
You know, when I was up there, these unfunded mandates were a concern.
Yeah.
Something we just didn't want to do.
I mean, it makes sense to have ADs in our parks and stuff. I mean,
Well, the state can pay for them.
Sure.
You have an appropriation to go along with it.
Sounds like you just have a future plan to
No,
go back up
I
there.
don't. Tell you. All right, well, Mr. Dills, I would like a motion to adopt Resolution 2024-52.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Campbell, roll call, please.
Mr. Dills?
Yes.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Comments from board members. Mr. Dills, what's on your mind?
Are we at 1 hour and 3 minutes?
Moving fast.
Smoothest meeting I've ever been a part of, and Mr. Logue was not here. Interesting. We'll have to give him a hard time for that one. I do not have much. It's been a great month for our township. Yeah, no worries. I got nothing, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, well, actually, I got several things on here. So we did kind of talk about the door earlier. Just gotten very, very positive feedback about that. I heard last night that RJ's actually ran out of door cups. And, I mean, that's great that they're that popular that they're actually running out. So, you know, we'll make sure we get them restocked. So I also want to talk trash. So we talked about the trash cleanup day Saturday. So, you know, I guess when I first started in this position, I guess that was 3 years ago, you know, I was made a lot of comments, or I guess I had a lot of concerns, and I was hearing on social media, well, it wasn't just me, but trash all over the place in Union Township. And you know, it was particularly bad, I guess, you know, where I live on, you know, bottom of Rumpke Road, old 74. And that really hasn't been a problem anymore. So part of it has to do with the construction that has occurred of the pet suite place. And a lot of that's all been cleaned up. But I'm just in general seeing less of it. And I know you have the municipal court, they come out, I call them the chain gang people, but you know, they're doing community service work and they come out. ODOT does I-275 and, you know, 32 and 125. They're responsible for the highways. So, you know, a lot of people have been pitching in. I think there's fewer people, it appears, that are littering. Of course, a lot of litters, of course, accidentally. You get high winds. You know, I remember one time I found some of our garbage from our house that were up the street. It's like, how is this possible? Well, it was a windy day. You know, Rumpke comes by, they dump the can in the back of the truck, the wind's blowing, and the light garbage blows up the street. Well, you know, these things happen when you went up picking it up. So, you know, that does happen by accident. But I guess what I'd like to know, I guess what I'd like from the public, is where you're seeing trash or where this is a problem, you know, let us know. Or, you know, call me, let me know. And, you know, depending on where it is, you know, we can either, you know, let ODOT know about it, let the county know about it. You know, our people, you know, township services can give out. Now, most of the roads are county roads in the township, so it's just pretty much just in neighborhoods for the most part, the township responsible area. But, you know, I'm willing to get the stuff myself. Now, I'm not gonna chase a styrofoam cup across I-275, but, you know, as long as it's not unsafe, I'm willing to do it. So I just need feedback from the public where you're seeing problems, and we know to send somebody to go get it, or like I said, I'll go get it myself. So also then, you know, I was on a mission, I guess in my first year. I thought it would be a 4-year mission. I took care of it in less than 1 year. To go to every restaurant in Union Township. I think there was 103 of them. And then I would do a report kind of on just kind of, I don't know, yeah, it's kind of a broad ranking or kind of just, you know, my thoughts on the restaurant. So there's just 3 of them that are new, or newer, that I want to mention. So Cranium Cookie just opened up October 1st in the Eastgate Mall. They're near the food court. So I was in there doing some shopping. They got some, what I recommend there, they got the peanut butter and Reese cup, and peanut butter and M&M. Those are like the best ones. Chocolate chip was real good. You know, it's hard to find a bad cookie. So I recommend those. But I tell you, the cookies to die for. I mean, the best ones like in the universe. Dirty Dough down in Cherry Grove. They're next to Skyline Chili in the Cherry Grove shopping center. You know, they got ovens in there. You tell them what they want. They put it together and they bake it and they give it to you hot. And these things are like gooey and they're stuffed with chocolate, peanut butter. I mean, these things are decadent. And if you're counting calories, just don't. You know, they're like 600 and something each. So I want to mention them. And also a new restaurant, been there a couple of times now. It used to be a Chinese place, but now it's an Indian place. It's on the corner of Glen Estee, Withensville Road, and State Route 125. A little shopping strip there, and they're right there in the corner. Called Flavorful India. And so I've been in there a couple of times. Real nice, real good people, and good food. Now, if you like hot food, you know, you go with the curry. I found even level 1 curry's a bit much for my blood. Regardless, I think that sums up everything I got. Do you have anything else? What was funny about that? Go ahead.
Appreciate the review, sir. I tried. So, no, that was good. I'm going to go, it sounds like I should go try them out.
I'm promoting Union Township businesses.
Yeah, you did good. I'm sorry.
Should we just move on?
I'm excited to try some good food.
All right.
Yeah.
Dirty Dough cookies.
Roger that.
Oh
I'm
my
on it.
gosh. Oh my
I'm
gosh.
going to go there after this. We have time.
Yeah. All right, upcoming events. Mr. Taylor, tell us again what you have for the junk pickup days.
October 24th, 25th, 26th.
And it's going to be at the Services Garage where it always is.
Correct, yes, sir.
There was talk of potentially moving it to Klepper, but that
Yes.
axed and it's staying where it's always been.
I believe the road improvements should be finished by then, so you'll have complete full access.
All right, very good. Okay, so also, I got, 7 items here. So there's no zoning commission meeting in October, there's no zoning, or Board of Zoning Appeals meeting in November. We are having a trustees meeting Tuesday, November 12th at 6 o'clock. Oh, here's something new we've never done before. It's called a sip and shop. That event is going to be held Saturday the 19th here at the Civic Center in the parking lot from noon to 4. Mr. Wright, what is a sip and shop? What can the public expect?
So the best way that I can describe it, and again, I give Lisa a lot of credit in putting these events together, is it's sort of like the farmer's market, but with different vendors. So there'll be, food, arts and crafts, there'll be a lot. She told me there's something like 30-something vendors that are going to be up here.
Food, all food?
No. These are crafts, arts, crafts, like you name it. I mean, it's sort of a bazaar, like a street bazaar kind of concept or whatever. But there'll probably be some folks that have, food for sale, or maybe some raw goods for sale, like honey, stuff like that, or whatever. So it's sort of a fall event, and it's just really meant, I think she was looking to promote the Dora. Will obviously be very similar to the concert series where we have that, available, and just promote that or whatever. So it'll be in this lot, same lot as the farmer's market. So, and she told me it is full. There's like a waiting list for vendors that want to be here.
Really?
Yes. I just spoke to her right before the meeting.
Wow, sounds like it's gonna be a great event.
So hopefully everybody come out for that. It's new. It's just something to do. Hopefully the weather's nice. We're in lower temperature, nice fall days, and it should be warm, 12 to 4. So
And something I'm excited about, my favorite baker lady is going to be there, Jackie Martin. She actually lives out in Bethel, I think, but she's at our farmer's market, every week when we have the farmer's market. And, she's got, she just go on and on about how great the baked goods are, and these, what do they call it, cookie, I don't know what they're called. They're like, they're awesome. I mean, the last time she was at the farmer's market, I just bought her entire stock.
I think you found your dream job.
And we just put them in the freezer at home, and, so I think we've gone through them all since then.
Claremont County's food connoisseur, critic.
I like to eat. All right, so moving along, let's see, I'm on the fifth item here. The township offices will be closed on the October the 14th for Columbus Day, November 11th for Veterans Day. Keep in mind, the election is going to be Tuesday the 5th. And so I think it's going to be the same as last year. If you're going to be voting here in this building, in this room, you're going to have.
Same as the primary.
Same as the primary, okay.
Primary.
So in this room, there's going to be areas to vote depending on your precinct, as well as downstairs. So when you walk in the front door here, there'll be somebody, there'll be a desk out front, and they'll direct you either in here or downstairs, depending on what precinct you're in. With that, any further comments? Any favorite restaurants? Favorite desserts? Mr. Dills, I would like a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please, Mr. Campbell.
Mr. Dills?
Yes.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
We're adjourned at 7:13 PM.
All right.